Welcome to Sitcom Showdown, a podcast that reviews classic sitcom episodes and inducts them into our very own Hall of Fame. As usual, one of us has chosen a sitcom episode and the other guy has no idea what it's going to be. Will they already know it? Will they love it? Can they be convinced that it's worthy? Let's find out on Sitcom Showdown.
Welcome, listeners, to episode 50 of Sitcom Showdown. It's great to have you here. Yes, we're very excited because we're going to take you on a journey through what we've learned, the highlights and the lowlights and everything else of the last 50 episodes. Yes, so that we have discussed 48 sitcoms.
Yeah.
Or 48 sitcom episodes.
Oh, good call.
Since we started. Some of them were seasonal, and in case you don't know what I'm raving on about, I mean, we chose Christmas-themed episodes in December, twice. And in October last year, we did Halloween episodes. Yeah. Which was a lot of fun. That took us a bit out of our comfort zone, didn't it, Jeff?
Yeah.
Had to go looking in some new places.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Okay, so here's some stats. 38 of the nominated episodes, or 79%, made it into the Hall of Fame.
Aha.
Leaving 10, or 21%, rejected.
Right. I wonder what that says about the format. I mean, the stats are interesting, but never as interesting as what they actually say.
Well, what are they saying?
I don't know what they're saying. We haven't done analysis, we've only done stats. But there you go, we'll leave that up to the listener to decide what that says.
We're being meanies, or
overly generous.
Discerning, one-fifth of the time. Something like that. So 24 were from the UK, Jeff.
That is surprising.
Why is that surprising? Because
I thought there'd be a lot more UK. I thought it'd be about 70% UK, a bit of American, a bit of Australian, a bit of Canadian. Oh. But no, I'm very pleased to hear that. That's pretty good. Sorry, I interrupted you halfway.
That's right. I'll give you the rest of them.
Okay.
It's 9 from the US is the next highest.
Yep.
3 from Australia.
Yep.
And 2 from Canada. So that's just the ones that made it into the Hall of Fame.
Aha.
So please stand with me for the national anthem of the United Kingdom, Jeff. All right, that's enough of that.
Well, are we giving the Britons a pat on the head for producing good sitcoms?
I thought so.
Oh, okay, excellent.
Why not?
No worries.
Tip of the hat.
Yeah.
Later on, Jeff, we're going to learn about the listeners' top 5 episodes.
Right.
As covered by us. But right now, we're going to get into our own top 5.
Yeah.
We're going to bring out the big guns.
All right. No worries.
So, should we start with should we go like 5, 5, 4, 4, work our way up to the top?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And I'll just do a bit of clarification on the question because I didn't read it properly.
Right, okay.
So what you've written here for me to choose is the top 5 all-round best sitcom episodes, which differs slightly from my top 5 favourite episodes, which, as you'd expect, would be all ones that I brought in, but except for one. But yeah, so what I've done is I've done a bit of substitution once I reread the question properly,
right,
and looked at it.
So this is more of an objective rather than a subjective thing.
Yes, because there's ones I'm more fond of, but then you look at the entire output and go, oh, well, that one's technically better.
Okay, so what have you got for number 5?
Well, for number 5, I have the episode we covered of Yes Minister called The Death List.
Oh.
Yes, I mean, I originally had The Goodies Scoutrageous because it's so fantastically excellent, but I whipped that out and put Yes Minister in.
So the Goodies didn't even make it into the top 5?
Well, they did until I reread the question and then thought, I better not be so self-serving.
Yeah.
I'll serve the higher master of sitcomery.
Well, that was one that I nominated. That's interesting.
Oh, that's right.
So what was it about that one that...
it's just a superbly written sitcom. You know, the acting is first rate. The plots are always very insightful and well written. And yeah, I mean, Yes Minister's just a high quality sitcom.
But Minister, you must allow me to say just one more thing on this matter.
Very well, just one. Let me be brief.
The special branch have found your name on a death list.
It has absolutely no bearing on the situation. What?
The special branch have found your name on a death list.
Death list? What do you mean a death list?
An assassination list.
Yes, I know what you mean by death list, but what do you mean?
Well, I don't know that I can put it any more clearly.
The S-Minister at number 5. What did you have at number 5?
Well, this was a bit of a surprise to me, this episode. This is actually an episode of Miranda, which is one of the Christmas ones we picked. And It's called The Perfect Christmas. So, yeah, I was surprised with this one. Obviously, I enjoyed it on first watch and thought, yeah, okay, this is something I could bring forward and nominate. But as I rewatched it and put my notes together, I was really surprised about how well it's put together in terms of the plot. The gags are top quality, and it's just all around good fun.
Okay.
Yes, one that I definitely like to watch again and again. But yeah, it had.
So it's got the potential to become a family Christmas favourite.
I think so. Yeah.
Every year you whack on that episode of Miranda.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very well put together.
Right.
Girls, I've chosen something for you for my best Christmas jumper party tonight.
Oh, Mum, don't. Listen, about Christmas.
So we'll get
Steve
the costumes and pick you up at the restaurant later.
Yes, fine.
We've got pink champagne. You'll get totally sozzled.
No, the thing
and
is,
then
Mum,
we'll decorate the tree. I've got great baubles and you can do the fairies.
Fine,
Such
okay, listen,
fun.
but Steve and I don't do that.
Such fun.
Mum,
Such
no, the
fun.
thing is...
Such fun.
Nice try, Poppet.
Suitcase.
Come in.
What have you got for number 4?
For number 4, I've got Blackadder 2, which I've called Captain Rum, but we know it's called Potato.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I picked that one just because it's incredible fun and completely zany, and it does have some all-time classic stuff in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. What is it?
I'm surprised you've forgotten, my lord.
I haven't forgotten. It's a rhetorical question.
No, it's potato.
To you, it's a potato. To me, it's a potato. But to Sir Walter bloody Raleigh, it's country estates, fine carriages, and as many girls as his tongue can cope with. He's making a fortune out of the things. People are smoking them, building houses out of them. They'll be eating them next.
Stranger things have happened.
Well, exactly.
That horse becoming Pope.
For one.
No, I'm not surprised by that one at all. Well done. That is not my number 4.
Oh, okay.
Nor is it in my top 5.
We'll see if any of these intersect anywhere along the line.
There might be something at the top. So my 4th one was an episode of Seinfeld called The Alternate Side.
Aha.
This is an episode that gave us some classic quotes.
Right.
Which have entered into general parlance. And, one of the best plots ever, which maybe is giving away something for later in the episode. But yes, it's just, it's right up there, that one.
Oh, jolly good. And here's a clip.
Hey, you know they were supposed to do my scene today?
Today?
Yeah. You know, they told me that they wanted me to walk down the block carrying this bag of groceries, you know? So I start to walk, and I trip. And the grocery bag goes flying, and Woody starts laughing.
He was laughing?
Oh, yeah. He was drinking something that started to come out of his nose.
Oh.
So then what? Well, I got a line in the movie.
Yeah.
That's great.
You got a line in a Woody Allen movie? You're in the movie. Is he in the scene?
Oh, yeah, it's me and him. I might have a whole new career on my hands, huh? You mean a career?
All right, moving on to number 3 then on my list. At number 3, I've got Open All Hours Ginger Men, which we covered in episode 31.
Yeah.
We should be giving the episode numbers of our podcast where we covered these, just to make it easier for people if they want to check it out.
Yep. So what was it about that?
Wow. It's just classic comedy, and it all comes down to characters and acting again, I think. So it hasn't got a world-busting plot by any stretch of the imagination. But just watching Ronnie Barker and David Jason go about their business, it's mastery of that particular type of sitcom.
Surely the stress of a surplus of Jamaican ginger cake.
I'd rather watch that than say, the mastery of Basil the Rat, in which it's ultra stressful.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because
so Basil the Rat's
it's
not in your top 5.
it's got to enter into it is, would I want to sit down and watch it? I've gone off the point here, but I think, Open All Hours made my top 5. Yeah.
Right, well, just saying another one that I nominated.
Ah.
What about some of that then? That's ideal, is that?
Ginger cake? Jamaican ginger cake?
Yeah, she's lovely with a bit of butter on it, but then aren't we all?
You've been trying to unload this all week. It's been featured in your window, on your window, displayed on the counter.
Well, why keep quiet about a good thing, my love?
If it's such a good thing, why is nobody buying it?
Yes, I had begun to consider that myself.
I know you of old, Arkwright. I expect you to try and push it on all the other customers who come in, but don't start trying to unload all the junk you're overstocked with on me.
Oh, my love.
Late for work.
Listen, don't forget I'm coming over tonight to show you my elbow.
Well, talking of Fawlty Towers, Basil the Rat is my third.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's my, third highest rated episode.
Yep.
What more can you say about that? Obviously stressful. We talked about that already.
Yes. But it's right up there.
So
in terms
finely
of the form.
tuned.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You've got a lot on your mind. We didn't want to worry you, Mr. What do you mean, a public health inspector coming after a 24-hour warning and a rat loose in the hotel? Is that what you mean?
He must have escaped, Mr. Fawlty, and come back.
Come back.
They home.
Oh, I see. He's a homing rat, is he? Oh, yeah. Rats are amazing creatures, Mr. Fawlty. I read about one once. His owner had gone down to Penzance. Yes, I read about that. When the chef got filleted with his own carving knife. No, honest. Scout's honour.
We'll find him, Mr. Fawlty.
Well, if you could, that would be lovely before they close us down. Super. Well, let's have a little Basil hunt, shall we? And then we'll deal with the sackings later on. I'll do the same.
What's your number 2?
Number 2, I've got Thin Blue Line, Fly on the Wall.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which we covered in episode 6. And it just, for brilliant observation, and the characters are all, and there's a lot of characters in Thin Blue Line. So it's a massive ensemble cast, and every character is clearly delineated, and there's no ciphers in there, and they've all got a distinct personality. And then trying to meld all them together with really funny jokes and a good situation and a decent plot. Thin Blue Line's highly underrated, I think. And it's just a great episode all round. There's not much I can fault with it.
I've been looking through the number of firearms certificates you've issued in the last couple of years, Fowler.
Ah, yes. I think you'll find it comes to a goodly round number.
Yes, it does. None.
Right? No more, no less.
92 sponsored applications, none accepted.
That is correct.
Including the bloke I sponsored.
Or more accurately, particularly the bloke you've sponsored.
He is the chief todger of my lodge. If I can't swing him a permit, I'm going to look a right dicky-doo-dah, aren't I?
I do not approve firearms applications in order to prevent you from looking a dicky-doo-dah, Grim. Besides which, I could issue the fellow with a cruise missile permit, and you would still look like a dicky-doo-dah.
Yep, solid choice. Again, not on my list. So for my second one, I've gone for an episode of Blackadder Goes Forth called Corporal Punishment.
Aha.
Yes, that was the last episode we covered.
Yeah, so that's pretty fresh in people's memories if they've been listening in chronological order.
Yep. Again, just totally top shelf. Gags all the way through. Fantastic performances we talked about.
Yep.
General Melchett going right off his trolley.
Well, tally-ho with a bing and a ball and a buzz.
Oh, God.
I say, first of all, sir, that I am deeply honoured.
Borwick, I'll deal with you later. Am I to understand that you are going to represent me at the court-martial?
Absolutely, sir. Well, it's a sort of family tradition, really. My uncle's a lawyer, you know.
Your uncle's a lawyer, but you're not.
Oh, good Lord, no. I'm an absolute duffer at this sort of thing, no. In the school debating society, I was voted the boy least likely to complete a coherent...
Sentence?
That's it, yes. But anyway, my dear old friend, it's an honour to serve.
Right, well, so...
What's numero uno?
Yeah, numero uno on my personal list was Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, episode 3.
Oh, my goodness.
Because it's my favourite sitcom of all time, and I put it in on the flimsy basis of the gag per minute ratio. I think if you timed out every single joke of every single kind in every sitcom we've covered, Filthy Rich and Cat Flap would have double the amount of jokes of all the other ones. And it's just relentless and completely insane. So that's my favourite one, I've got to say.
Yes,
but then
got no argument with the clearly insane.
But on the amended list where I had to go...
Okay. What, you've scrubbed that one, have you?
Yeah, that one got scrubbed, and then I thought, what can I put in here to replace it? And I did put Basil the Rat in, just because Fawlty Towers is mastery. And I went back through and had a quick watch of it, and I just thought, yep, you can't go wrong with Fawlty Towers at the top. And it was episode number 1. And, you're not going to get too many arguments. And then, of course, I looked at everything else on the list and thought, what can I put in above that one? Probably not much. Yes.
Well, we're about to find out.
What you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
it's not
there is
Brooklyn
some...
Nine-Nine, is it?
So there is some overlap on the Venn diagram. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yes!
No.
It's actually news radio and an episode called Arcade.
Ah, yes. Well, there you go. What episode of the podcast did that appear in?
That was episode number 21.
Okay.
Yes,
that is one of your personal favourites.
Yes.
It's in your... Would I be wrong in saying it's in your top 3 of all time?
You wouldn't be wrong.
Okay, good.
And my note here is Bill's sandwich machine saga is the C plot in this episode. I rest my case.
That's all you need to say. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you cannot be more right.
I mean,
if that's the C plot.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Ah.
Unbelievable. Right, let's listen to a bit of that.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't understand how you can eat those things.
Well, they aren't what you would call conventionally tasty. I guess they just remind me of the sandwiches my mother used to make for me.
Your mother made you sandwiches like that?
Yes, she made a month's worth of sandwiches at a time. Then she'd leave them for me in a box on the porch. She was quite a woman.
I'll bet she was.
Of course, now I have to ration these like a squirrel burying a precious bone. While those vidiots play that infernal game.
Well, to be fair, Bill, that game is a good test of hand-eye coordination, and it does further your understanding of other worlds. And besides, nobody's playing it. I took away the extension cord.
Wow.
All right, well, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows.
Oh.
Which episode did you nominate for the worst of the worst, Jeff?
Oh, which one do you reckon I did? There was 3 candidates.
Well...
Oh, it doesn't matter. You don't have to improvise. But I put in Final Space. But
that's only right.
It's a tough decision, of course, because there was also Garth Marenghi to contend with. But again, it came down to which one would I want to sit through again if I was forced at gunpoint. And I thought I'd much rather watch Garth Marenghi again than watch Final Space again. And I won't go on the reasons why, but if anyone wants to look up my massive rant against Final Space, you can do that in Sitcom Showdown episode 37.
Yes.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so there we go.
Have you received any death threats yet?
No, I haven't received a single death threat from any of the production staff over Final Space.
That's good to hear.
What about you?
Maybe in season 2 they can do something.
Yeah. Is there going to be a season 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. I'll have to step up my campaign.
I was going to say I'm nominated, but I don't know if that's the right. I've relegated Leno and Woodley's Primal Warrior.
Of course.
To the worst of the worst plot.
Look, I'm glad it wasn't Basil Brush, so that's good. But
And I wrote too many crap jokes. Extended sequences which just didn't work.
Yeah.
A waste of my taxpayer dollars.
Well, I won't argue the third point. Yeah. But the panpipes gag in nearly made my top 5 gags list for the end. Because you did put on that particular point, which will be coming up later, gags that just make you laugh no matter how many times you watch it. Yes. And it is pure genius, but we disagree on that one.
Yes, we do rather strongly.
And I should point out to the dear listener that episode of Sitcom Showdown was never meant to exist.
Yes.
It got
That's
canned for obvious reasons. And then we put the thing out. So, no surprises there that it made Steve's worst episode.
Yeah, we put it out and it's been quite popular.
Yeah, we'll get to that later on, won't we?
Okay.
Well, we've all had a great day, haven't we, fellas? We've learnt a lot. And the trance dance in the TP, where we were all possessed by our own personal animal spirit guide, was most impressive. My personal animal spirit guide was the wolf. What was yours?
Mine was the anaconda.
Don't you mean anaconda?
It wasn't just anaconda, it was the anaconda.
Oh, what's our next section now that we've done the worst?
Head scratches.
Oh.
The sitcom moments that made the least sense.
Mm.
I'll be interested to see what you've got.
Oh, well, I've only got 2.
What?
Yeah, well, I warned you about this. I'm not going to go back and rewatch all these episodes and look for... But what confused me is...
they're not memorable enough to remember, then...
That's right. I mean, it's...
I guess, fair enough.
There's lots of head scratches, and it depends on the sitcom, because you can't include things like Young Ones and Father Ted and things that exist in universes where anything is possible.
Oh, that's not good news.
Oh, no, I mean, this is just for me.
I'm just scratching things off my list.
Yeah. And when you've got sitcoms that try and deal faithfully with real life, like Yes Minister and things like that, then it's very clear when something doesn't comport with reality.
Yep. Well, I guess we're going to get an interesting take on what we mean by head scratches then.
Yeah, so I've thought I was trapped in the plot hole thing. Something where you watch it and you scratch your head. There's tons of moments in all these sitcoms where I think, why on earth would that character do that?
Yeah.
But I didn't include those. Anyway, let's kick it off. Naturally, the one that stands out the most to me when you say sitcom moments that make the least sense is the Red Dwarf appeal/strings plot and the 3-hour showers.
Yes.
So to recap, and I won't do a very good job, but this is, as we said, a plot hole you could drive Starbug through. So the mail arrives and they have one letter saying that there's going to, they've lodged an appeal. And then also in the mail, there's some guitar strings for Lister. And then at the end of the episode, it turns out the appeal was all about the guitar strings.
Yeah.
And chronologically, that's actually impossible.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't spoil my enjoyment, I should point out, but it does for all Red Dwarf fans who hate that episode.
Yes. And should we point out that one didn't make it into the Hall of Fame?
No, it did not. And also 3-hour showers. So Crichton is filming shower night with the ladies, and then in a brilliant gag, poor old Lister confesses that he was forced to sit there through all 3 gobsmacking hours of it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you're on a prison vessel, water's quite rare.
Yes.
3-hour showers? There's not enough female prisoners on the ship to have 3 hours worth of showers.
Well, that's all recycled water, right?
Anyway.
Something like that. Who knows?
That's not really a plot hole, just a... Yeah. Sorry, what have you got on your list there?
Well, yeah, so I went in a slightly different direction. So the first one, or my number 5, was the Salvation... This is from an episode of The Goodies called Scoutrageous. So Tim, in order to combat the masked scouts,
yes,
Tim
has left his beloved scouts not only in shame, but also he's now turned his back on all that.
Yeah,
he's going on the attack
in order to combat the evil masked scouts.
I wonder who the masked scouts are.
Yeah, we know who they are. Well, he doesn't know who they are. Anyway, so he's basically joined the Salvation Army. Yep. And there's almost something like a Cold War going on where the Salvation Army becomes a full-on armoured forces and hunts down the masked scouts.
The Salvation Air Force and the Salvation Navy. Yeah.
They've got nuclear bombs and all this sort of stuff. It's pretty out there.
Going back to the point I made about shows that are completely disconnected from reality.
My list is full of shows that are completely...
Okay.
Yes, anyway. I like that one.
Okay.
Number 4 was Vivian getting decapitated by the train in the Young Ones episode Bambi.
Yep.
And then kicking his own head, having a his head, he's abusing his body and kicks the head down the train line, and then he's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
2 minutes later,
he doesn't even have a scar.
That's a classic.
Yeah. There you go.
This one is one I did complain about in episode 36. This is Basil Brush, dog on it.
I knew this was going to make it in.
Yeah, you knew this was making an appearance. Yeah. So Basil goes into someone's stomach.
Mr.
I can't remember if it
Stephen's
was
stomach. Yeah.
Stephen's stomach. In order to retrieve a dog which Stephen swallowed.
Yes. They had to hide the dog very quickly because the landlord doesn't want dogs in the flat.
Yes.
And they had to hide the dog because Mr. Stevens got a big mouth. They shoved it in his gob and then he swallowed it.
Yeah. Which makes even less sense when you realise that it's actually you're watching a TV show.
Yeah.
So it's like, how did they film this going on inside Stephen's stomach? Who knows?
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's just a children's show. You're like number 2, Cheeky Chicken.
Cheeky Chicken.
Cheeky Chicken.
Oh.
From House of Fools, and an episode called The Probation Affairs. So tell us what happens how does he make an appearance?
Okay, well, in an effort to freshen Bosch's breath, because he's been out on the booze all night, they spray some sort of stuff into his mouth, and then it starts to bubble over furiously, and then when the mound of bubbles on the floor clears, Cheeky Chicken rolls out of it, rolls across the floor. That's one mystery. And then, of course, later on, Cheeky Chicken's in the kitchen and then goes past the window doing the Cheeky Chicken dance that the other guys had done.
Yeah, but when he appears, they all exclaim, "Oh, it's Cheeky Chicken," as if they all know who Cheeky Chicken is.
Yeah. Oh.
Bizarre. Just like they know who the horse is that's...
Billy Bongo.
Billy Bongo.
I didn't understand that. You took it to be like a regular character because they recognised him and said Cheeky Chicken.
Yes, and then I did discover that Cheeky Chicken had made an appearance in a previous
sketch show.
Yes. And then number 1 is from episode 23. It's Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, The Apes of Wrath.
Uh-huh.
And this is
it's another
bizarre,
reality-defying...
Bizarre. Well, it would be a very strange reality. So the antagonist, who has turned Dark Place Hospital into the Hospital of the Apes, is weeing into a rather large water bottle, the kind you would see in a water dispenser in an office. And it's green wee, and one of his... Well, it's actually Dag, is the character. He's been turned into an ape, and he's kind of mumbling and urging him on as he's weeing into this bottle. It is... really strange. But if you think that's the strangest thing in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, you ain't seen nothing yet. But yeah. Whew.
It's a good thing we never did the Mighty Boosh, because a lot of things on that would have made this list. Yes.
What have we got next?
Well, I've only got one more, because I actually had 2. And it's... All I've got written here is, why would Father Ted keep hammering away at that car? So... Father Ted's been given a car to raffle, and then this tiny, tiny, tiny little dint that you'd barely notice at all.
Yep.
And he goes, I think I can just tap that out. And then you cut back, and the whole car's completely destroyed. And you just think, oh, my goodness. I mean, it's hilarious.
Yep.
But, yes, you think he'd stop at the first one. And, like, this thing's on one of the front doors or something, and then even the boot, which is on the other end of the car, has been completely smashed in. That's a head scratcher.
Being a perfectionist, and once you get started on something, you can't stop.
Fair enough.
But at what point did he call it quits?
I don't know.
He could have just kept going forever.
Oh, that's right. Anyway, next section.
The next section is favourite new discovery.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the joy of finding new shows.
Yeah.
And which new show filled you with the most joy?
Well, it was John Shuttleworth.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. With props to The Good Place, which I immediately devoured and I'm keeping up with, and also Corner Gas, which I didn't immediately warm to, but I've watched probably more Corner Gas than you at this point.
I would think so.
So there's 3 shows that I'd never come across, and then I just immediately got on the bandwagon. But yeah, I got my hands on all the John Shuttleworth 15-minute audio sitcoms from the BBC, and I listen to them on a regular basis. So
Very good.
thanks, dude.
No worries.
Yeah,
No worries.
top stuff.
Well, I put Count Arthur Strong down as mine.
Yep.
Yep. Just love that sitcom.
Mm.
It's one that you can share with the whole family, and it's got very hilarious moments, and he's just a great character.
Yeah, you do need to have a Region 2 compatible disc player.
Yep, or find it online.
Yeah.
If you can, track it down. It's very, very good.
Oh, it is.
Now we've got our favourite 5 moments from the podcast, and I don't know if you actually came up with something for this.
Nope.
No. Okay.
I'll check my notes while you're talking about it.
No, empty.
No. Yep.
Okay.
I wasn't going to sit there and listen to 48 episodes of Sitcom Showdown to take notes on that.
Well, these are all just things that came to mind.
Yeah. Oh, good. Right.
So my 5th one was us discussing, in fact, in the last episode, the possibility that Gertrude Perkins may have been Corporal Perkins' forebearer.
Yeah.
Despite that, and then, of course, I twigged to the fact that Gertrude Perkins is actually a pseudonym, not a real person.
So there's no genetic heritage to be had there?
No. Yeah, slight technical problem there.
Did that make it into the show?
Yeah.
Because this is the problem, is I always edit out all the really bad stuff up. So anyway, yes, what else is on
that was a
the
good
list?
one. Me trying to get Garth Marenghi's Dark Place inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I
In
don't
general?
know.
Or?
Yeah. I don't know how many hours I put into putting my notes together.
Lovingly crafting them.
Lovingly crafting those notes. And, I mean, even just trying to explain that you're watching a show. Oh, I won't get started on it, but...
Fictional characters doing a fictional... It's a layer upon layer
Yeah.
of complexity.
We're 3 layers deep in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It was a labour of love, which failed.
We had a similar problem in reverse with Basil Brush, to a certain extent. Yeah.
Number 3, I've got Jeff's final space rant. I don't know if I happened to catch him in a bad mood that lunchtime or what was happening, but whereas he normally would, in the nicest possible terms, say no.
Yeah.
Something went wrong that day. It was very funny.
Well, it did.
Yeah. Number 2, listening to 2 Margarines, which is something...
Oh, yes.
This is from the John Shuttleworth episode, which we covered in episode 41. And 2 Margarines is a song, well, let's say tangential to that particular episode that we were covering.
Yeah.
He makes reference to it. He says, just this morning we had a row over the fact that Mary had opened a second
tub of margarine
before
finishing the first one.
It just so happens that he wrote a song about that very scenario called 2 Margarines, so I basically played it live to Jeff, and he'd never heard it before, and it filled us both with so much joy. And I could tell you were connecting with it on some kind of deep spiritual level there.
Totally, and I immediately downloaded it to my phone.
Yeah.
And play it on a regular basis, which annoys my wife Jane an awful lot. And even now she knows the song.
Yeah, it does seem to bother your wife.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. And then the first one, numero uno, was Jeff talking. This is from The Good Place, which we covered in episode 27. And Eleanor and the rest of the gang are at this, I think it's a cocktail party.
Right.
Or something like that. She, knowing that she's arrived at the good place and shouldn't be there.
Eleanor,
she's meeting all these incredibly good people, and they're telling their stories of what they did in their life before they arrived in the good place, etc., etc. And there's this one guy who's saying how he had done all these things. He'd gone to Saudi Arabia to campaign for gay rights, and he'd campaigned in a similar kind of country for women's rights, and he'd done all these things. And you said, it's a surprise that he got out of there alive.
Of course.
It's like, Jeff,
he's
dead, he's in the good place.
I probably would have gone, that's right, yeah. Oh, man.
The funniest thing ever.
Oh, jolly good. I'm glad you covered
Had you
all
forgotten that one?
Yeah. I had. Oh, excellent.
Very good.
That's cheered me right up, that has.
Okay. What was your darkest gag
Wow, look, there was plenty to choose from here. But I went with something that wasn't particularly mucky, because you can have dark stuff and then you've got stuff that's just, I'm not touching that with a barge pole. So, and also factoring in quality, I chose...
Good quality? Or
Yeah.
Yes.
The Ways to Die, delivered by Graham Garden on Yes Minister. Telling the minister all the different ways he's going to get assassinated. And then on a couple of occasions, he throws in a couple of cheeky gags. And then as he's walking out at the end, well, we'll put a clip in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, accidents, right. Never walk along the outside edge of any pavement, river, jetty, wharf or railway platform. We don't want to make it too easy for them, do we, sir? Especially the electric railway, so avoid the tube. Electrocution, yes, that's another of their favourites. Little tinkering with the telly, the kettle, the fire, the toaster, the hi-fi, the electric blanket, and Bob's your uncle. You're a late uncle. So they have to be checked every time. Any questions? Good. Well, here's your list of standard safety precautions. I'll be in touch. Oh, if you are pushed out of a high window and there's iron railings underneath, try and land on your head. Quicker.
Yes, he lays it on quite thick, doesn't he?
He does a bit. It's all very good. And I've got a runner-up of in Cheers, all the times when Sam was denying that Gary was dead, and you're just shaking your head because you're going, Sam, you're at his funeral. He's got weeping relatives here. Knock it off, Gary. Yeah, give it up. Get out of that coffin. And digging up his grave. Yeah. Dude. Anyway,
you're right. That's a classic, that one. I didn't even think of that one.
What did you have?
So this came from our episode of Filthy Rich and Cat Flap called Dinner Party.
Yeah.
In fact, I read through the script looking for this.
Oh, did you?
And, oh man, it's
it's the greatest sitcom episode of all time.
Absolutely. It's in the Hall of Fame. So what's happened here? Richie's been arrested. And
for robbing a supermarket.
For robbing a supermarket.
For the dinner party he's putting on for Tarby.
Well, he had to do that, right? Anyway, he decides that he's going to blackmail his agent into getting him some legal representation.
Yeah, or to take the rap.
Oh, to take the rap.
Yeah, so he wants his agent Filthy Ralph to admit to the crime on his behalf and do the prison time for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he says to Eddie, this is before he puts the phone call through.
Yeah.
That he's going to blackmail Filthy using his children's catalogue.
Yes.
As blackmail material.
Yes.
I'll telephone my agent. That's a good idea. Let's blame him. Yeah. Hey, what if he won't take the rap? Tell him we'll go to the papes about his children's catalogue. Nice thinking. Hello, Filthy. Yeah, God bless. Look after Mum. Drive safely. Listen, you filthy, evil porno merchant. Me and Eddie are in deep trouble. And unless you take the blame, we'll tell the world the truth about your so-called stage school.
Please, daughter, please. Please. Listen, I'm not a well man. This morning I coughed so hard I sucked my trousers up my backside.
We've got to be sensitive when we're handling this one. So, yes, Filthy Ralph operates as they call it, so-called stage school to help presumably young lasses who want to get into the performance arts to learn performing skills, which I guess translates to Filthy basically taking young ladies and teaching them to be strippers and stuff like this, and possibly something darker.
We certainly see the seedy underworld side of
British entertainment industry.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm guessing...
I don't know what more we can say about that.
No, but Ben Elton obviously heard tales of the dark underbelly of the entertainment industry, so-called.
Yes,
anyway,
we get a glimpse in that gag.
That is pretty dark. I've got one of Killing of Children, if that helps.
Killing of Children, yes, tell me more.
Well, in Potato, Blackadder's being called Sourpuss and Grumpy Face, and he just leans out the window with a bow and arrow and goes, shthunk, and kills this young child and goes, oh, Mummy!
Yeah.
Blackadder's just there killing children. Classic stuff.
Yeah, well, he was
when
provoked.
Blackadder does it, it's all right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, mentioning Blackadder, funniest character.
All right, so we're going to move on to something that'll cheer us right up here after
Yes.
the darkest gag. Oh, yes, funniest character. Now, I didn't... Well, look, I'll let you go first. Are we starting from 5 and ending up at the top?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we're bound to have some intersection here, dude.
I would say there'll be one point of intersection.
Oh, okay.
On our Venn diagram. Let's see how we go. So my 5th one is Rico. Rico.
From Penguins.
Bear with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Penguins of Madagascar, who, if you don't know, is a hyper-violent penguin who speaks only in guttural growls and can regurgitate items at will. And that's like his secret power. That's his superpower. Super penguin power.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is used to help them out of all sorts of situations.
Aha. Yeah. Well, I haven't put in any sort of cartoon characters, but
No?
there you go. So number 5, I don't want to ramble on, but it's so difficult to leave people out, as you've said. But anyway, number 5, I've put Al Bundy from Married with Children.
Yes.
I mean, I'd have him at number 1 if I could, obviously, but there's other people better. But Al Bundy's one of the great comic creations. And Ed O'Neill is so versatile. Anyway, yeah. So
I'm just not shaking my head. I'm nodding my head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Al Bundy's fantastic. So, and also, I took you literally here at funniest character category. I think what they do has to be funny. So there you go.
Yep.
Anyway, number 4 for you, Steve.
Moss.
Oh,
from the
really?
IT
Okay,
crowd.
right.
Yep.
Oh.
He just makes me laugh in his delivery. He's unlike anyone else.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know what else to say about him.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a weirdo.
Everyone who's seen Moss in action will know exactly what you mean. Oh. So at number 4, I've got Arkwright from Open All Hours, because not only is he a funny character, but I think if you shopped in his shop in real life, he would always be saying hilarious things, and you could get a good laugh out of him.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'd be
Because,
annoyed
I mean,
by him,
you're
though.
the butt of all his jokes, obviously.
Yeah.
As the customer, you are the butt of it. But as an observer...
And you'd get swindled as well.
Yeah. Well, that's also true. But
Well, not swindled,
He
but,
is
you know.
genuinely very witty and very quick, off the mark and all those things.
Is there a character that goes in there and actually trades? It's only Nurse Gladys that's on his level.
Yeah, I think so. Some people intimidate him, but he likes a challenge.
That's true. All right, number 3 for me was Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh, I totally forgot about Kramer. He
You
didn't make
forgot
my
about
list.
Kramer?
I forgot about Kramer.
Oh, the physicality.
Yeah. Oh. At number 3, I have Count Arthur Strong,
Ooh.
who should make the top 5.
Right.
Because that's just a classic character, yeah. So Count Arthur Strong.
Well,
he's
character
right
that's
up-
been honed over 20 plus years.
Oh, absolutely. Right,
Yep.
what have you got at
Solid choice.
number 2 there?
Bill McNeil from News Radio.
The real deal with Bill McNeil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I see that as we're listing these characters, we're struggling for the words to explain how good they are. But there you go. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's just a sad loss that the actor that plays Bill's no longer with us.
Yep.
Never did anything else because he's a genius. What's
Yeah.
his name?
What, Bill McNeil?
Bill's the character.
I know Bill's the character. Yeah, I've forgotten his name as well. That's shocking, isn't it? I wasn't prepared. Well, while you're looking that up, Steve, I'll tell you my number 2, and I hope he's on your list because you'll shake your head. And like much as I totally forgot about Kramer, you've probably forgotten all about Inspector Grimm from Thin Blue Line, who is one of the most hilarious characters ever. Yes.
I have not forgotten about Inspector Grimm.
Oh, good. Okay, very good.
Newsflash, he's my favourite.
Is he
my
really?
number 1 too.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a shocker. Wow.
Why is it a
No,
shocker?
I mean, I'm really pleased, obviously, but I thought, oh, man, how can you list him above all these other great characters? But no, well done. Is he your number 1, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us why.
Well, he's the antithesis of everything else that's going on at the police station.
Yeah. He's the anti-Raymond.
Yeah, and he's the anti-PC. He's the He's like egotistical and selfish and everything like that.
Raymond is a stickler for procedure, and Inspector Grimm doesn't even know what the procedure is. He's a maverick, but too stupid to be really effectively maverick.
He thinks he's Dirty Harry.
The Chief Constable has been approached by the BBC to do a fly-on-the-wall documentary about a police station. He wants to know if we'd agree for it to be ours. Now, this needs some very careful consideration. For the time being, I think it'd be best if we didn't tell CID, because you know what'll happen.
Derek Grimm on Gasford CID! Come on down!
Just as I feared.
Have you heard, fella? We are going to be stars, limos, posh birds, no more queuing at Sainsbury's. I reckon we should cut a single. Starsky and Hutch did it, didn't they? Come on, silver lady, take me home. And Kojak, he had a bash. If a picture paints 1,000 words, then what can I
Look, be quiet, everyone, be quiet. Starsky and Hutch and Kojak were fictitious policemen. The BBC want to make a documentary, not Gasforth PD Blue.
He's a 10th rate Dirty Harry.
Yeah. I just had, the episode that we covered, where he's trying to get the gun license for one of his Todgers. That's a classic, but oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
I'm ever so pleased to find out. Anyway, who is Bill McNeil?
Yeah. Bill McNeil is played by Phil... Oh my goodness.
Hartman.
I can't see it. It's in my blind spot here. We're going to have to redo...
Oh. No, let's leave it in.
No, okay.
This will count at episode 100's best moments. Yeah. Steve forgets Phil Hartman.
Yeah, exactly. Phil Hartman.
Yeah, and in that cast of news radio, it is hard to stand out as the best character. You know, I mean, Jimmy James is a brilliant character.
He'd be up there as well.
Oh, he would. And yet he doesn't even make the top 5. But yeah, it's stiff competition in that very, very good cast.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Which leaves us with my number 1, unless you've got something else to say about Inspector Grimm. Okay, so at the top I had Moss.
So the doorbell goes, and you all just sit there until the person goes away?
Yes.
What if it's important? What if it's good news?
This is London, Jen. It's not someone with cake. Unless that cake is made of dog poo and knives.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that this list we've got... We're in sync on this one.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Count Arthur wasn't in your top 5?
No.
Oh. All right, the Count Arthur fans will be on your case.
Rico the Penguin.
Yeah. So Rico beat Count Arthur.
Yep. When Arthur learns to regurgitate nuclear bombs.
Object.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that on board.
We'll discuss it again.
Yeah, fair enough. No worries. Did you have any honourable mentions? Oh, it's just I had one, so while you're thinking.
Okay, so these are the ones that didn't make the cut.
Oh.
Well, as a guest, Redbeard Rum, Captain Redbeard Rum.
Oh, Tom Baker, yes.
Arkwright.
Yeah.
Bernard Black.
Yes, I think Black Books is getting shafted on all our lists here.
Yep.
But either way, yes.
Yep, so he could have easily been on the list. That
it's
was one of the harder ones,
He's not very likeable, that's all.
No, he's not. Frankly.
The honourable mention I had, who I had to kick out of the list, was Jeff from Swiss Tony. And just that character always has all the best lines. He's got the best delivery, and he's just a shambling wreck of a human being, but completely and utterly honest, and yet dishonest. Anyway, there's a lot you could say about Jeff, but yeah, I think he's a very underrated character. Very, very good.
I haven't seen enough Swiss Tony to comment on that.
Yeah.
Yep. I could see the honesty coming across in the episode we watched, though. Yeah. Particularly where he takes over as boss. It doesn't go well.
No.
Okay, so it's time for a tip of our hat to the top-rated writers.
Yep.
From the last 49
And I'll just note that you are wearing a hat, and it's at night, and we're indoors.
Look, I'll tip it.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so with an honourable mention, Kevin White. And the reason Kevin's getting an honourable mention is that His episode of Corner Gas was nominated but not accepted into the Hall of Fame. But his episode of Schitt's Creek was accepted, so well done.
That all makes sense to me now because I had no idea who you were talking about.
Really?
But well done, Kev.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so ahead of Kevin with 2 episodes that were actually accepted into the Hall of Fame is Andrew Norris. Remember what he wrote?
Yes. Obviously, number 1 is going to be...
Yes?
No, I'm thinking... I know it's Mr. British, but I forgot it was called the British... So it'll be the British Empire.
Yep.
And the other one will be Chance in a Million.
Yes. Well,
hey!
I gave that one away. Well done, Andrew. Number 3 is Richard Curtis.
Oh.
Actually, okay, so Richard has tied with someone else because he's had 4
Holy moly.
episodes.
Okay.
Mr. Bean, Vicar of Dibley, Blackadder the 2nd, and Blackadder goes 4th.
And they all went into the Hall of Fame.
They all went into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, well done, Richard Curtis.
Yes. So he tied with Graham Linehan.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, who also had 4 for Father Ted, Black Books, Count Arthur Strong, and the IT Crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Very strong showing there from Graham.
Oh, yeah.
But Ben Elton reigns supreme.
At the tippity top.
At the tippity top. With the young ones, Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, Blackadder the 2nd, Blackadder goes 4th, and the Thin Blue Line.
Yeah. And we haven't even covered up Stark Crow.
No, we haven't covered up Stark Crow.
Yeah, well, that was quite predictable because people know about this, but we did have to institute the no Ben for 10 rule.
Yep.
In which I think in our first 15 episodes, we probably covered a hell of a lot of those shows and then just thought no more Ben Eltons for a time period. And then that was followed by the Linehan ban.
Yes.
No Graham Linehan for 10 episodes.
Yep.
Anyway, so they do loom large over the writerly stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive number of episodes out of our initial 49.
Yeah, totally.
What have we got next? Oh, episode with the best plot.
Okay.
Talking about writers.
Oh.
Episodes with the best plot. Ranked and why.
Right, okay.
What have you got? What's your number 5?
Okay, so what I've done here is put in Chance in a Million, The Taxman Cometh. And again, I've overthought the whole thing.
What kind of criteria did you apply to this category?
So then the way I figure it is I had 2 themes running through the plot thing, and one is deliberate deception, and we're going to see a lot of that.
That's an interesting category.
And the other one is happenstance or coincidence or luck.
Yep.
And that's Andrew Norris's whole thing with Chance in a Million and the British Empire, right?
Yep.
So Chance in a Million...
One has terrible luck and the other one has terrible luck.
But Tom Chance can have extremely good luck as well. And that's Chance in a Million's whole deal is amazing plotting, but it's all based on coincidence and 1,000,000 chances.
You found a 1 in a million when he got Alison.
Oh, that's true. Yes. Oh, it's
Who
a
else
very
would put up with
heartwarming sitcom. Yeah, well, that's right. Without dying.
Yep.
Or having something horrible happen to them. Exactly. Who did you have at number 5, Dave?
At number 5, I had, I'm looking mostly for multiple plot lines that are all tied together with a neat bow.
This is your whole deal, man. This is where you give good marks if something can fulfill that criteria.
Exactly. Now, my number 5, I don't know if it exactly falls into that, but it's Only When I Laugh, and the episode is called The Accident. Accident.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember this one, but
it's very much laid out like a case, and you're putting together the evidence as you go along.
That's it. Exactly. So you start with an accident,
and
you actually end with an accident. So it's neatly bookcased there. But the circumstances behind the first accident are revealed bit by bit
as various
very
witnesses
methodically.
come forward.
And so the guys in the hospital ward have the case come to them, so to speak, and it all gets untangled and unravelled as we go.
Yeah. There's a hint of Rear Window in there and all these other things, just bits of evidence popping up here and there.
Yes, it's a very fine
I
script.
thought it was nominated for my list, but didn't make it on. Okay.
So what's your number 4?
Okay, number 4, I've got Father Ted, Think Fast, Father Ted. And this comes down to the deliberate deception with Ted desperately wanting this car, and then something goes wrong with the first car, and then he's got to go and borrow another car and then rig a raffle so that he can give the car back to the other priest, and then...
So when you say deliberate deception, it's not deceiving the audience, because that's what I thought you meant when you said...
Oh, no. It's very much here is a goal that we can't attain, so we're going to have to do something generally dodgy as hell. And so we've got to deliberately deceive people, and here's our plan. And then, how many twists and turns the plan can take, and whether it works out for the protagonist or whether it doesn't work out, and things like this. So a plan is set out, and does it follow that plan? And so then there's all the plotting involved in making that happen, or not making it happen, as it turns out. Yeah. So then they throw in the thing about, the other gambling priest and Dougal being so thick that he announces the thing's rigged, and these sorts of things. So deliberate deception.
Yeah, he's up against it in that episode, isn't he?
Yes, very much so. And we know Bishop Brennan will literally thump him to death if he does do something wrong. So there's high stakes here. But yeah, I like the plot to that one.
Yep. So my fourth one was Miranda, The Perfect Christmas.
Right.
The aforementioned top 5 episode of mine. It's the way this brought together the saga of the gifts, the delivery of the gifts. So Miranda's basically she's done the right thing. She's ordered everything online in one hit. Beautiful. But of course, it arrives and she's not there. And then it becomes a real drama because the clock's ticking down to Christmas. So how's she going to get her hands on these gifts? And
sorry to interrupt, but just leading to that genius scene at the pickup parcel depot.
It's a classic. It's a classic, Ray. And then he ends up he makes an appearance at, the guy who denies her parcel at the post office.
Yep.
At the last possible moment before it shuts. He ends up making an appearance at the Christmas party. He's been invited by her parents.
Yeah.
And there's 2 or 3 of those kinds of things going on in that one. It's a real corker. What's your number 3?
Number 3, I've got Brooklyn Nine-Nine Halloween.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Hello.
Because that's, again, deliberate deception.
See, this is what I thought you meant with deliberate deception, deceiving the audience.
Oh, yeah, well, in this case, it's both, because they're trying to trick each other and do various things, and it's so complicated, and all the stuff they have to do, and there's a plan, and then that's not really the plan, and there's a sub-plan, and you'd know it better than I do, so feel free to explain if you want. But yes, this is a top plot in all the episodes we've covered.
Yep.
Number 3, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What's that one called? Because I just wrote Halloween. Sorry, I want to be precise here.
It's actually Halloween 2.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes,
because they do them every year.
Imaginatively titled Halloween 2.
Cool. What did you have at number 3?
I had Corner Gas. Poor Brent was the episode.
Yeah.
There's 3 separate plot lines going on, and they're all tied together in a very memorable scene, which ends in Lacey swearing at the top of her voice.
Not Wanda? No, it was Lacey. Yeah.
No. Well, she's bought. So, it's complicated.
Yeah, this top 5 is... to explain the plots could take a hell of a long time.
Literally, it could have taken me 2 hours to write the notes on the synopsis for this. I'm not going to try and explain it.
Okay, go back to episode whatever it was.
There's 3 separate plot lines, and they're tied together in this amazing scene where Lacey ends up swearing, and it's covered by the sound of a passing goods train.
Okay.
Yes, it's very, very good.
So number 2 on my list, I've got Yes Minister, The Death List.
Wow.
Which, obviously you've got the whole... And the thing I like about that one, and we talked about at the time, is we never truly, definitely find out whether the things that happen to resolve the plot are deliberately done by Sir Humphrey Appleby, or whether they're organic and naturally occurring. And there's, as you'd expect with any political show, there's lots of machinations and double dealing and things like that. But yeah, I won't go into the plot or anything. But I think
strongly hinted that there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. But of course, you don't get to see any of that, so you just you're
told about it through the filters of various people who each have their own agendas.
Yes, that's right. No, good choice, Jeff.
Thank you.
Very good one, that one. My number 2 was News Radio Arcade. Again, the way that, well, what was the sandwich machine in the office gets replaced, much to Bill's sadness, with Stargate Defender, which was Dave's nemesis from back in high school days.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that video game is making an appearance. He's been challenged to resit his SATs, and it all comes together in the most brilliant way. Most brilliant way possible. Love that episode.
So my number 1 here, I had Fawlty Towers, Basil the Rat.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not because the plot is especially... this one comes down to fate/coincidence again, and so it's just wrong place, wrong time, wrong creature. But it's just the pure escalation of trouble upon escalation upon escalation. And, we all know how hard they worked on Fawlty Towers, so I'll leave it there.
Yep, there's no fat.
No.
That wasn't trimmed out of those episodes.
Absolutely.
Very true. Solid choice. Well, my number 1 was Seinfeld, The Alternate Side, which we covered in episode 13.
Yeah. It's very cliche in a way, because people talk about Seinfeld and Fawlty Towers as being the great exemplars of...
But they are.
Excellent plot. Well, yeah, they are. Anyway, sorry, yes, tell us about Seinfeld and the car and the everything else.
Well, again, we've got the 3 plot lines going on. We've got Jerry's car, and of course you've got the classic car rental scene.
Yeah.
Where he says, "You better give me the insurance because I'm going to beat the hell out of this car." And then you've got Kramer. He's appearing in this Woody Allen movie that's filming down the street, so that's the thing.
Blocking up all the traffic, which George has to contend with.
And, that's the third one. That's George, who's taken over the job for a short period of time of shifting the cars from one side of the street to the other.
Yeah.
The whole thing comes together in one rather disastrous episode for George.
Yep.
Yes, it's rather wonderful.
Oh, so there we go. That's our top 10 plots.
Yeah.
And I don't think we had any of them match up.
No.
Which in a way is good, because it exposes people to 10 very good plots.
Mm-hmm. What's the next one? Best Actor/Actress.
Yeah, this is now a tough one.
Yeah, now I did preface this by saying I'm basing my selection... Obviously it was one that we covered, but on more than just the one episode that we saw. Does that make sense?
I agree.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I will. And I think for me it was, can this person play more than one character? So you can have one person who plays a role perfectly.
Yeah.
And you can't imagine anyone else playing it. And their acting is absolutely superb. But then I just thought, nope, I've got to have someone who's acted in multiple roles. So I've given it to Ronnie Barker, who is brilliant as Fletcher, that we covered with Porridge, and brilliant as Arkwright, that we also covered. And he's been brilliant in so many other things, and even just the characters in the sketches that he plays. Ronnie Barker is a superb actor. And I'm giving some sort of runner-up props to Rowan Atkinson, who's so different as Raymond Fowler to Blackadder, and then so different in Mr. Bean.
Yep.
And I wanted to give Ted Danson some props as well, although, yeah, you can argue Ted Danson plays Ted Danson, but then when you showed me The Good Place, I just thought, it's such a different role for him, and I hadn't rated Ted Danson very much at all as an actor, but that totally turned me around, The Good Place. Anyway, who did you select?
No, that was an interesting twist, because I hadn't considered the actor in multiple shows that we've watched. But I went for one. So I went for Kristen Bell.
Okay.
Who plays Eleanor Shellstrop in The Good Place.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, well, she walks an interesting line, because she's a likeable yet unlikable character.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You're certainly cheering for her. She's a character who can navigate her way through any situation, and Kristen plays her, like, you get to see the dramatic performance and also the comedy chops, like the whole gamut in this show. And also you get to see, because of flashbacks and other things that I'm not going to tell you about because I don't want to spoil people on the show, you get to see her, because the character evolves over time, so you get to see Eleanor, our Eleanor if you like, that you get to flash back to see what she was like
in a
before
previous...
that.
And also, I think, again, not wanting to spoil the show, there's certain situations that have to happen more than once. Or it'll be seen from a different character's point of view. You know how you get some sitcoms where there'll be a scene and then you see it from all 4 characters' point of view? There's been some sitcom episodes that have actually done one event covered by 4 different people.
Yep.
That sort of thing. And then the actor then has to do it differently each time. Those sorts of episodes really highlight good acting. But yeah, no, I take on board what you're saying about Kristen Bell there. Yeah, I'd considered choosing it based on how many awards people have got.
Oh, you would?
Which is
who would win if that was the case?
Well, I thought Ruth Cracknell...
She was nominated for a Golden Globe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll just mention that.
Yeah. So Ruth Cracknell was right up there, but then I hadn't seen her in any other roles, so I didn't want to judge. And so that's when I went to my multi-role thing.
What's a gold Logie worth versus a Golden Globe?
Are you saying it's worth an eighth of
or a BAFTA?
An Oscar?
I don't know what the ratio. What the ratio
I don't
is.
know. I mean, if Effie won a gold Logie, then you've got to value it perhaps not as highly as a BAFTA. So, did you have any honourable mentions here?
I haven't written any down.
Okay.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of options to choose from.
Yeah.
I didn't write any down though.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, we're
almost
we're drawing towards the end here.
Yeah.
How many have we got? Any more awards to give out and things like that?
We've got one more.
Oh, okay.
And this is a biggie.
Us up. Yes, tell us all about it, Steve.
Okay, so this is the best gag category.
Okay.
And I had a lot of trouble narrowing this down to 5.
Well, look, I'll just list one and then you list your 5th.
Okay.
So I'll take them in order of what they appear on the page. So number 5 is, from the young ones, Bacon Sandwich, the Pig Ferret. Which
what's the context to that?
Well, look, and you said the favourite gags have to have you in stitches every time, and that one does. So the young ones are trying to get into the BBC past the security bods because they're booked to appear on University Challenge.
Yeah, Mel,
and
in this case.
Yes, and for some reason Viv is carrying a pig.
Here, hang on. What's that?
It's my mascot.
A pig? No. It is?
It's not, it's a ferret. It's a really deformed ferret, I'll grant you that. So severely deformed, in fact, that it looks a little bit like a pig.
Looks exactly like a pig.
Yes, well, it certainly has been remarked upon. In fact, just as John Hurt is known as the Elephant Man, Bacon Sandwich here is known as the Pig Ferret.
Bacon Sandwich? Funny name for a ferret, isn't it?
Aha! And that's why I had you fooled, because it's not a ferret, it's a pig.
Well done, Viv. You certainly got him there.
Like ferrets get automatic entry to the BBC.
Pig. Yeah.
Whereas pigs don't.
How could you top that? Man.
I did 5 times.
Yeah, no. That's all conjecture, Steve-O. It's objective.
That's a
not
matter of
objective.
opinion.
It's subjective. So what have you got
Okay,
there?
so I'm saying that Feel the Heft of Telly Heaven from Miranda is better than that.
Oh, yes.
So this is Miranda around at her mum and dad's in the count. It is like she's on the countdown to Christmas Day, and they've got this year in, year out tradition of things that essentially drive her completely balmy. And one of these things is that every year her dad picks up the Christmas edition of the, what's it called?
Radio Times.
Radio Times.
Not TV Guide.
Yes, it's like it's a bumper edition. And of course he must love the Christmas TV.
He'll be planning
schedule.
out everything he's going to watch.
Oh, he's going to be underlining things and all sorts. So he picks it up in his hand and he says, "Feel the heft of Telly Heaven."
Yeah.
And then in response to that, her mum always says something like, what time is it on, or something like that. And then Miranda just goes into this complete rant about how they do this every year and she hates it.
Yes.
It's very funny. Very funny.
Okay, so the Filthy Rich and Cat Flap episode has at least 6 of my all-time favourite gags, so I've had to narrow it down a bit. But what this is bringing me to is a bit of a sidestep, is gags that don't have dialogue. And I've got a couple of those. I'm just wondering in advance if there's any such ones.
Eddie's trousers full of frozen
Yeah, no, well,
comestibles.
look, the one I'm talking about here is there's Eddie's meat.
Yep.
right? And that's a two-parter. So I'll explain that in a minute. But do you have anything? Because I think Mr. Bean's been poorly served in our list so
I don't
far.
have any Mr. Bean.
So I thought in favourite gags, maybe one where he's going around with the turkey on his head or something like that.
Well, that would be a memorable one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we've sold him short. Anyway, so Eddie and Richie have had to rob the supermarket in order to put on the dinner party for Tubby and everyone else. And Eddie has shoved all the supermarket meat down his enormous trousers, and then they get sent to jail, and then they come back. Anyway, at the end of the episode, they finally arrive back, but Eddie's still got all this frozen meat in his trousers.
Yeah.
And he has to unload them, and Richie says, "Good Lord, Eddie, how do you fit so much meat in your trousers?" And the predictable response from Eddie, "That's what all the girls say." And then there's this, as Eddie's unloading all the meat and Richie's having to put it in the oven. Anyway, we'll play a clip while I'm losing my voice.
Safe and sound at home now, and perhaps now I can get on with preparing for my fantastic dinner party. Empty for big trousers!
Okie dokie, me old spunky cockspur.
Good Lord, Eddie, how did you get so much meat in your trousers?
That's what all the girls say.
Tarby's coming round in 10 minutes and we haven't cooked a thing. Let's please get this stuff in the oven. I'll never get it all in.
Sounds a bit rude.
I think I'm going to need something to lever it in with.
Sounds a bit ruder.
No matter how much I stuff in, there's still loads more waiting to be pushed in.
It sounds even ruder than it was before.
Thank you for these observations, Eddie. I just feel that every culinary exchange should be accompanied by the mad rantings of a brain-dead vegetable.
Right, there we are. It's a light.
Okay, sorry, yes, what have you got, Dave?
Number 4 was Dave and Stargate Defender getting reacquainted in news radio.
Oh, it's a beautiful, touching moment.
So, at the end of the working day, I can't remember who it is. Is it Matthew? It might be Matthew is playing Stargate Defender. And
it's Jimmy?
No, it's Jimmy James. Yeah, it's Jimmy James. And Dave's kind of like walking past Stargate Defender, not looking
towards the lift.
Not towards the lift, not looking it in the eye. Because he knows that there's potential danger here. Anyway, Jimmy kind of calls him over, and he's like, there's a whole gag about Jimmy having failed to protect the humans from the invading aliens, and he's crying his eyes out and all this sort of stuff, and Dave's commiserating with him. And I think, is it Beth gives him the coin or something like that? Yeah, so anyway, everyone leaves for the day, and Dave is there, and he puts the coin in, and away he goes. And basically the next thing you know, it's Dave still at Stargate Defender, and he looks at the time and he realises it's basically dawn of the
and he
the
looks
next
at
day.
the window.
Looks at the window. The sun's started shining in through the window, and so he goes, "Oh my goodness!" He throws his coat over his shoulder, bolts for the lift. But as he's just arriving at the lift, Matthew's arriving at work for the day. So Dave, like, just turns on a dime and basically pretends that he's just arrived too. And this is the morning that he's supposed to be resetting the SATs. And he's done the same thing all over again that he did 10 years beforehand or something like that.
Which comes back to the beautiful plotting you mentioned.
Yes, but the way Dave Foley performs all this physically is just amazing. I love it.
What did you say? All right. It's been a long time, Stargate Defender. Indeed it has, Dave. I believe we have a score to settle. Damn. Okay. Just one more game. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Morning, David. Are you just going home now?
No, I just got here.
There you go.
What else have you got there?
Well, I've got the Memory Man turban gag from Count Arthur.
Hang on, is that in our episode?
Because they're having the seance so that they can talk to their dead friend. Yeah.
Nice to see the turban back.
You what?
Remember when we first met, you wore that turban for your Memory Man act?
Memory Man act?
Just forget it.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is for seances. This isn't my Memory Man turban.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't. This is my Memory Man turban. Oh, no, that's me round the house one. This is my Memory Man turban. I think I would know which turban I'm wearing, thank you very much.
I think I know which turban I'm wearing, thank you very much. And oh, man.
I'm surprised you didn't choose the spooky blackboard. It's not a Ouija board.
Oh, deep breath.
Or is it the spooky blackboard? I can't remember.
No, look, let's not go down that whole thing. So, yes, the Memory Man turban gag in Count Arthur was great.
Okay, so my next one is Captain Rum's ineptitude and complete lack of resources being uncovered in Blackadder 2.
Someone in the crew will know how to steer this thing.
The crew, my lord.
Yes, the crew.
What crew?
I was under the impression that it was common maritime practice for a ship to have a crew.
Opinion is divided on the subject.
Really?
Yes. All the other captains say it is. I say it isn't.
Oh, God, mad as a brush.
Crew, my lord.
Yeah. No, there is no crew.
That's number one on my list, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
What crew, my lord?
Opinion is divided. And he explains how he normally just spins people around in circles a couple of times and
heads for home.
Calls it a day.
Wow. Yeah,
oh,
no,
sorry, I
was
took
brilliant.
your number one.
No, that's all right. They are not in order anyway. Okay, so I do have one here. Now, this is a non-dialogue one, and this does get me every time. It's in my top 5 gags ever, and it's the singing kids in Vicar of Dibley that had been taught by Alice.
Very good.
And, well, they just keep going down the register and down a note each time in the octave or whatever. And I'll bung in a clip.
Okay, so
how did that get into the Hall of Fame?
My next one is rat poison sequence from Fawlty Towers. Basil the rat.
The stress.
Yeah, it just takes you, ratchets up the tension as it just gets worse and worse and worse. The cat's vomiting. No, the cat's not vomiting because of the poison. There was no poison on the steak. Right. If the steak's fine, then we can just scrape it off the floor and dust it off and then,
serve it up.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. What else have you got?
Oh, well, the only other one I had was Father Ted getting the ding out of the new car because he's just slightly tapping away with his hammer, tap, 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 and you think that's okay. And then you cut to
the reveal.
Father Ted's face and Dougal, and they're looking at the car. You can't see the car. And he goes, well, that's not too bad, I suppose. That's all right. And you cut back to the car, and it's completely destroyed. And that one, no matter how many times I see it, even though there's no element of surprise at all, it's just brilliant.
It's cracked you up.
Yeah, fantastic. That's all I had.
Right, how about this one that wasn't anywhere on your list?
Mm-hmm.
It's from the games, the episode being Robbo and the 100 metres, where they realise that the 100-metre track at the forthcoming Olympic Games is not actually 100 metres.
Yeah.
No 2 100 metres tracks are ever the same. Everybody knows that.
Well, how long is our 100 metres track?
Look, what's the point?
The point, Mr. Wilson, is that in 739 days, we're going to have the Olympic 100 metres final on that track. This is an event that'll be watched by about 600 million of the world's most dedicated rugged individualists. You and I both know it's going to be run on a track that's not 100 metres long.
How do you know that?
Mr. Wilson, do you know who is the current 100 metres all-comers Australian record holder?
No.
The 100-metre record in this country, Mr. Wilson, is currently held by Brian.
Brian?
And you, Mark, Mr. Wilson, set at a blistering session last Wednesday. I wish you'd been there. We were down there and we had a bet.
Is this wind assisted?
No, and we'd had a couple, and in my view, Brian's not in quite the nick he was at the same stage of last season.
So you've measured the track?
Yeah, we've measured the track, Mr. Wilson. How long is it, Mr. Wilson?
You know how long it is?
I want to hear you say it.
94 metres.
94 metres.
That just builds and builds and builds.
I mean, I love the just the concept
Yeah.
of that gag, but then you're right, they spin 7 or 8 minutes worth of value out of that.
And then, it's sitcom excellence, that whole thing. No, so I'm right there with you, dude. Was that number one, was it?
That was number one.
Oh, my goodness. I'm pleasantly surprised with that.
All right, well, without any further ado, let's go to the... Oh, Jeff, forget the recent Radio Times poll results of the best sitcom episodes ever.
Oh.
Because we've got our own results here from the lovely people who responded to our survey.
Okay.
We had 192 responses.
That's not bad.
Which I'm very grateful. So thank you for everyone that sent something through.
So this is them choosing their 5 favourite sitcom episodes.
The question was asked, which was the best episode out of this list? And it's everything that we put in
to the Hall of Fame.
Into the Hall of Fame in the last 49 episodes. So,
okay, here we go.
Okay, we have a draw for 5th spot between Hancock's The Blood Donor and the Office US episode The Dundies.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so number 3 and 4 were also a tie. We got a tie between Blackadder Goes Forth, Corporal Punishment, and Fawlty Towers, Basil the Rat. And the next one, number 2, Count Arthur Strong, The Seance.
Right.
Well represented there. And then by a blistering majority, the number 1 voted episode was Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Halloween 2.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
And I have to say the people on the Brooklyn Nine-Nine Facebook page were very good sports about this, because a number of them in the comments, as you follow it down, said, well, I do love my 9-9, but in terms of this list, I have to vote for something else. So
okay.
I think one of them went for Basil the Rat and things like that. So
good on them.
Yes. So what do you think of?
So they're setting aside their personal preferences, and allegiances to salute quality.
Yes, that was very good.
Okay.
So there is, you can see a bit of overlap between our lists
and theirs,
and that.
Yeah, and there is one final list, of course, which is doing the same thing but by download numbers.
Yep. And how did that go?
Well, okay, this is how that panned out. Now, Basil the Rat was in the top 5 for the whole existence of this Sitcom Showdown podcast, except for last week when it got dropped out of the top 5 somehow. I'm not sure how that happened, but that's all right. But that benefits from being first, so it probably had an unfair advantage in the first place. So at number 5... strap yourself in, Steve. You already know the results of this. But Leno and Woodley has the 5th most downloads.
Like, you're going to tell me now that I can't argue with the people.
Look, I'm not saying
the strength
anything,
of public
dude.
opinion.
All I'll say is that episode was recorded and then suitably canned as not being good enough, and then desperately brought back when we had a week where we had nothing to do, so I had to pull it out of the bin, dust it off, hose off all the muck, and put it out there. And it's in your worst. It's your worst selection. But the listeners disagree, Steve. So that's the 5th most downloaded episode against all odds. Number 4 was Yes Minister. Number 3 was Open All Hours. Number 2 was Vicar of Dibley.
Yes.
And then by a margin of several 100%, getting more downloads than all of the other top 5 put together, is Count Arthur Strong, whose fans, I must only say, are possibly the most loyal and dedicated there are.
Yes. We're still scratching our head how that one gets so many downloads.
And it's not that when that episode came out that it got a lot of downloads. No. Every month it has the most downloads. And we're talking a year onwards or a year and a half onwards. I don't know how that happens. It's a mystery.
And you don't, although you supported that one going into the Hall of Fame, you don't even vote. You don't rate that in your top few Count Arthur episodes, do you?
No, but, very much like Blackadder and Fawlty Towers and other sitcoms like that, you know, you could pick
basically
almost
any
Count Arthur episode and it'd be good enough to make it into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Yeah, there are other episodes that make me laugh a lot more than that one. But to the point where it actually hurts and I've got to turn it off because I can't stand it anymore because my sides are aching, which I know is a cliche, but it's true.
Very good. Well, I think we've come to the end. And this is only going to get harder when we hit 100 episodes. Presuming we are going to hit 100 episodes. It's going to take me days to figure out what should be ranked above the other one.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing I've learnt while doing Sitcom Showdown, it's that there's no shortage of excellent sitcoms. And many of them I've never watched before.
No, I'm really excited because I found some new ones that I think you're really going to like.
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
At least that I really like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking forward to bringing those along.
Excellent. All right. Well, they'll be part of the next 50, which will take a couple of years to get through.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll be back in around a fortnight. Don't know what it's going to be as usual, but this was a fun look back.
Yeah, it was. Really fun. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Alrighty. Cheers.
Bye.
Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.